Alrighty, welcome to another Slash Uncast. I'm your host, Reroll Zero, and I had significant amount of trouble recording this because I couldn't think of a topic because I kind of wanted um, I kind of wanted the 50th one to be special, but I guess this is the closest one to I could say could be special. So I finally settled on a topic, and it's about not exactly the newest Zelda coming out, but so many people are going gaga about it. I was thinking, might as well make a video based on that kind of fixation on the new Zelda game. And I may be a super insane hypocrite, but I'm not the biggest Zelda fan. I played Link to the Past. I played Twilight Princess. I was thinking about recording or streaming those, but then, it'd probably get picked up by the DMCA bot on YouTube, so I just was, it's easier to avoid that, or it's, just, it's difficult, or it's annoying because you're not openly profiting off it like Nintendo thinks you are, and yeah, it's super lame. So anyway, the topic for today or tonight, wherever you are, is that was a fart.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. Don't worry about it. You can talk as well. I don't really mind. But I was thinking it'd be funny if I think the best Zelda is Hyrule Warriors. Fight me.
Okay.
Significantly because you get to play as other characters, and I think that's probably a good reason to, or a good, I guess, idea, kind of like with Mario 2, is that I think the Mario spin-offs are better than some of the Mario games, because yes, they're good, but they're also kind of safe, Same thing with kind of, oh my gosh, that's kind of rank. Is that Mario 64 is kind of like, the bar set for 3D games, platformers specifically. And then kind of, I love Mario Sunshine, but at the same time, it's kind of repeating the same idea. Same thing with Odyssey, or not Odyssey, Galaxy, then Odyssey, and so it's kind of like...
One Piece Odyssey?
No, not One Piece Odyssey. That, they're not really reinventing the wheel or anything like that. And I'm not being a pessimistic or, nouveau, hipster, avant-garde type thing where, I hate it because it's popular. I just don't like it because you're kind of repeating the same story of Peach gets kidnapped by Bowser, Mario does the thing, and that's it.
Where's the game where Mario gets kidnapped?
That already happened. It's called Super Princess Peach. It was on the DS. They only made
really a game of that?
yeah. They only made one. It was on the DS, and people were often saying that the umbrella / rod she had was like a dildo. Because it controlled her to make her happy and sad, and I'm going oh my, that's a big escalation.
Interesting.
Because the ending kind of implies that oh, the mom is more happier than usual and the dad is more angrier than usual or something, and I'm going yeah, I can see it, but then that's a big escalation for just somebody But what I was saying, the same thing with Zelda as with Mario, is that I feel like a lot of times Nintendo are hypocrites because they only made one, Super Princess Peach, and there's a million games of Luigi, Yoshi, Mario, or not Mario, Wario, and I feel like before they even consider even giving a game to Daisy or Rosalina or Pauline for that matter, they would have a game go to Waluigi, just because people, or even in the mod scene, there are people that made a lot of fan games, but again, it's just, the funny thing is, there was a really concerted effort, or really, fan game, a Waluigi, that was really well animated, and some people I've seen it through the Vinesauce guys like Vinny, and he played it or showcased it, and I was annoyed / jealous because they put so much effort into into that fan game, but they're not like they're kind of not doing the necessary steps of trying to actually make said game, because I get it as a fan fiction writer that you want to write for the thing that you're really interested in, but at the same time the best way to go about that is to make an original project, and hopefully when you make all these original projects that the company that you wanted to work for, they give you the contract, and that's kind of long and short of it. And unfortunately, yeah, so but anyway, why was so that people will go so much for so many, like same thing with, and not to be rude with the Waluigi, but just it's kind of like frustrating because the guy is very generic and lanky. It's basically if they made a game about Lanky Kong from Donkey Kong 64 and put so much effort and time and spent so much money on models, or even if they did spend money, if they weren't the artist, spent time on money or models, animations, programming, some inordinate amount of money for just a project that you can't show in the light of day because that's not possible, because the copyright will say, or will issue a cease and desist or DMCA. So anyway, same thing with Zelda, Breath of the Wild. I saw it's okay. Same thing with Tears of the Kingdom. I don't kind of get it. Why I'm advocating for Hyrule Warriors so much is because, again, you play as so many other characters, and significantly speaking, that you could don't there was examples in that in the past, like the games that a lot of people say are bad, which again which yes, they are bad, but at the same time I feel like if you made a better example or made a better effort to make say game or the remake say games, you can make them good or have them be a good game. Is that there was these Zelda CDI games which were animated questionably, and you got to play as Zelda in that, but other than that there hasn't been like any other game that you were beyond Link. And in some of the like extra Link to Zelda ones, you I think in Phantom Hourglass or Spirit Tracks or something like that, after Twilight Princess and after Link to the Past, like I have no like super good timeline or recollection of Zelda. I kind of just like the two because I've tried the other games, but they just they didn't light the same fire as when you see a game that you really enjoy and that you want to, and sometimes you don't finish it because either you're unable to or you don't want to because you kind of want to come back to the game and still have a reason to play it. Kind of the same thing with Final Fantasy X. I love that game and I beat it at least once, but I kind of consistently want to come back and just play the game again. But like again, outside of Hyrule Warriors, there's not very much chance to play as another character. Specifically with Hyrule Warriors 2, and I know I have Age of Calamity, but I haven't utilized it at all. I mean, my brother bought it for me, and I feel bad because I haven't had a chance to play it. But Hyrule Warriors, you can play as Link, or technically 3 versions of Link. You can play as the boat from Wind Waker. I guess that guy is a king or something like that. Spoilers, I guess. You can play as a lot of characters that you want to expect, and that's why I think it's such a cool or huge draw. Is that there are a lot of playable characters, and you know, you can eventually unlock Zelda. You can utilize or Impa's unlocked very early at the start. You can play as both versions of Midna, both her when Link is a wolf form and her true form, and there are a lot of women characters for this game too, which is like another like really like a just it's pretty cool. The villain is a woman too, which I was going to say it's the weirdest thing in this game that, and I don't know if it's a consistent Japanese design principle or if it's outright xenophobia. But like for some reason, when you're evil, at least in Legend of Zelda and Kingdom Hearts, like for some reason, like they give you darker or tan skin. It's just weird, and then you have white hair. So Xehanort has the same thing going on with Kingdom Hearts, and Sia, the lady from Hyrule Warriors, she has dark skin and white hair, and it's just like, why is that so consistent? Like, nobody else has the tan skin, so what are you getting at, Japan? So yeah, it's a weird design principle that's just kind of odd. But eventually through a patch, they Sia, the main villainess, is playable, and that's a cool thing as well. The other thing too is that it's kind of odd too, because Sia or Ganondorf is also dark for some reason. I mean, he's dark skin and red hair, but like it's just weird that like it's almost like the common like principle or idea of like you see in like Lord of the Rings, or like all the ugly races are different colors and different shapes and shit and stuff, right? Well, all the good races are elves and dwarves and humans, and they're never ugly. It's like, it's almost the same like consistent design principle, and not just D&D, but like World of Warcraft. All the good races are the Alliance, or all the non-ugly races are the Alliance, and the Horde are the undead, the orcs, the goblins, everything else. I guess for the Alliance they have the Draenei, right? I mean, I guess they're the fugly people of the Alliance, but that's still like they look kind of passable, they're not distinctly ugly or have like bestial features. That's what I'm trying to say. So, oh yeah, you can play as Ganondorf in this one. You can play as almost all the villains. So you can play as Ganondorf, Zantz, he's the guy from Twilight Princess, Girahim, he's the guy from Skyward Sword. So just in all seriousness, I put Hyrule Warriors like almost above all else, because you can play as tons of characters, and you don't have a lot of things constraining just your normal gameplay, like dungeon items that you need, like the hammer to smash down the pegs and like A Link to the Past, or I know this is probably a consistent example, but you don't need the spinner like in the desert temple in Twilight Princess. I don't remember, but I just remember some people mentioning that as a one and done item, like a lot of Zeldas. Like same thing with Hookshot, is that, or the ball and chain. It's another weapon that's kind of like a one and done situation, but it's utilized in Hyrule Warriors. So I really enjoy Hyrule Warriors. I really need to play Age of Calamity. I know technically Age of Calamity has a new cast all from like the Breath of the Wild, and I don't know if they added any additional characters from other Zeldas, but Hyrule Warriors is like the best. Like, it's almost like Halo Reach, if you're thinking about like a game that includes everything. It includes all the games like characters, so there's you can be one of those Goron, you can be the Goron King, I think, or
Goron Nips.
Yes, Goron Nips. You can be one of the Zora, I think their name's printed as Rudo, if I'm not mistaken. I think the only character I didn't like was probably, I think, Agatha or Agatha. I don't remember how you spell it, but it's a little girl that picks up butterflies, and that's okay, but like, you know, um, just don't be that little girl character if there's the police around, alright? You're gonna get arrested. So, other than that, I really enjoy Hyrule Warriors, and hopefully that they would have a third game in the works. I know there's after that partnership, there's Fire Emblem Warriors and Fire Emblem Three Houses Warriors or whatever, but like, I tried Fire Emblem Warriors the first one, and I just was I was like, because they didn't include the GameCube characters, so there was no Ike or anybody from that era, which is really like weird. You think they kind of go above and beyond. But also for the next one, Three Houses, I never booted it up because I was I had such a lukewarm reception to the Fire Emblem Warriors, but I haven't booted it up, but I still have a very fond recollection of Hyrule Warriors. So yeah, that's my 2 cents. Because again, it's like people all the time say like, oh, you need to play this, you need to play the best Zelda, like Ocarina of Time or Breath of the Wild or whatever. But at the same time, it's like they're like, well, I'm not gonna give you the money. You just gotta play it. Pirate that shit or whatever or something like that. And it's like, well, are you gonna help me or not? And no, they don't help you. So it's just like, well, then tough. I can't tell you what to do, or I can't tell myself to do because you're telling me it. So, other than that, hopefully you enjoyed the subject, and have a great day or night wherever you are in the world. So, I am signing off for the night.